Imagine standing at the precipice of the end of the world, witnessing the terrifying yet awe-inspiring visions of the apocalypse as revealed by the Apostle John. What if I told you that these ancient prophecies hold the key to understanding not just the fate of humanity, but your own life's purpose? In just a moment, we'll explore how these unsettling revelations offer profound insights into hope and resilience amid chaos, and why they echo louder in our lives today than ever before. Among the pages of the enigmatic final book of the Bible, the Book of Revelation, lie descriptions that have fascinated theologians, scholars, and believers alike through the ages. Out of its apocalyptic prophecies, few images remain as vivid and striking as the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Their symbolic presence has resonated across the centuries, painting a sobering picture of humanity's potential judgment and tribulation. As we delve into the meanings and implications surrounding these harbingers of doom, we find ourselves confronted with questions about the present state of the world and what may yet unfold. The first of the riders, astride a white horse, emerges with a bow and a crown representing conquest. This imagery suggests an insidious kind of triumph born out of conflict, marked by the relentless drive for power and control. Historically, conquest has been at the heart of many violent upheavals, where empires have risen and fallen, leaving devastation in their wake. Today we find parallels in the geopolitical tensions simmering across the globe. The modern world, despite its technological advancements, is still embroiled in power struggles that echo the ambitions of conquerors past. As the white horse gallops through the pages of time, it reminds us that the pursuit of dominion often leads to the very chaos it seeks to master, setting the stage for the arrival of the red horse. This second horseman embodies war, wielding a great sword and removing peace from the earth. The cycle of violence that envelops nations and peoples speaks to the depth of human estrangement and aggression. It's a grim reminder that despite aspirations toward peace, humanity remains vulnerable to the flames of conflict. In a world where even minor disagreements can escalate into major hostilities, the meaning of the red horse resonates deeply, illustrating how war disrupts economies, ravages communities, and leaves lasting scars. Accompanying the specter of war is the third rider, mounted on a black horse holding a pair of scales. This horseman is often interpreted as famine, a consequence of economic collapse and the natural result of conflict and conquest. Famine reminds us of the fragility of human existence, where the balance between plenty and scarcity can be tipped by forces both natural and man-made. Indeed, the world has witnessed how vulnerable food supplies can be, affected by climate change, natural disasters, and political instability. The reference to the 2020 global pandemic further underscores this point, as we saw firsthand how quickly the systems we rely on can be stretched to their limits. Finally, the appearance of the pale horse completes the dire quartet, its rider, named Death. Here allegory and reality converge as this harbinger of mortality cuts across cultural and temporal boundaries. Death is inevitable, a stark reminder of the finite nature of life, and will touch all indiscriminately. It raises profound questions about the world's trajectory and whether current global hardships are mere shadows of more dire judgments yet to come. The pale horse becomes a call to reflection, urging individuals to consider life's temporary nature and seek meaning beyond the material. In contemplating the four horsemen, we are drawn into a deeper understanding of how human choices and divine providence intertwine. Their symbolic significance invites us to reflect on our own roles in the unfolding narrative of history. The prophecies warn of a time yet to come, urging vigilance and introspection. Are we witnessing mere preludes, echoes of ancient times that cycle back with renewed vigor? Modern crises, mirror images of these apocalyptic visions, suggest that humanity still grapples with the same age-old dilemmas. In these reflections, we find a dual reminder of both warning and hope. The trials symbolized by the horsemen urge humanity towards repentance and renewal, a return to values that transcend mere survival. Biblical prophecy is not solely a document of doom, but a beacon lighting the path forward for those willing to heed its call. It invites believers to stand firm in their faith, to become agents of change in a world seemingly teetering on the edge. Through this exploration, the challenge becomes clear: to seek peace amidst conflict, to provide sustenance amid famine, to find healing amid disease, and to embrace life despite the specter of death. In the face of these seemingly insurmountable challenges, faith offers a sanctuary of resilience, a place to anchor hearts weary from the storm. By engaging with the apocalyptic vision of the four horsemen, there arises a greater understanding of the spiritual and ethical questions posed by Revelation. It's an invitation to look beyond the chaos and find solace in the promise of a greater tomorrow, where hope is realized not as mere survival, but as the flourishing of humanity under a divine covenant of love and redemption. In this intricate tapestry of prophecy, the four horsemen remind us that in facing the darkest shadows, we often discover the divine light that leads us onward. In the tapestry of apocalyptic prophecy, the Great Tribulation stands as both a formidable trial and a testament to enduring faith. Foretold by Jesus in the Gospel of Matthew 24:21-22, this period marks an unparalleled era of suffering on earth, a crescendo in the symphony of the end times. It is a time when humanity confronts the full weight of turmoil, with events so grave they leave an indelible impression on the world. Unlike the foreboding harbingers of the four horsemen, which we have journeyed through earlier, the Great Tribulation is not merely a prelude, but a profound intensification of woes already set in motion. The horsemen, symbols of conquest, war, famine, and death, ride forth with chaotic energy. The tribulation, however, zeroes in on the climax of these appalling events. Natural disasters strike with fiercer vehemence, wars reign with unrelenting devastation, and starvation grips nations in an unparalleled stranglehold. In this grim narrative of the end times, the book of Revelation introduces the seven bowls of God's wrath, a subset within the tumult of the tribulation, intensifying the anguish of an already tormented world. Each bowl unleashes a unique form of judgment, escalating the gravity of humanity's plight. The sores described as afflicting those marked by the beast are not only painful, but symbolize the physical manifestation of a spiritual malaise, a society marked by disregard for divine truth. The transformation of seas into blood is a haunting echo of the Egyptian plagues, underscoring a theme of divine retribution for defiance against God's will. This aquatic hecatomb serves as an unsettling reminder of the fragility of human life amidst an unyielding natural world. As waters that quench thirst become lethal, we are confronted with the stark accountability humanity faces for its actions, particularly in its interplay with creation. As the bowls continue to pour forth, the intensity of the sun, scorching with dreadful heat, speaks to both literal and metaphorical realities. In a world engulfed by literal flames, one cannot help but contemplate a society inflamed with unrestrained animosities and passions. It becomes a poignant metaphor for fanaticism, where unchecked ideologies and rampant discord incinerate the bonds of human connection. Then comes darkness, not merely as an absence of light, but as a profound spiritual obscurity blind to truth or morality. This darkness is palpable both physically and metaphorically, a representation of despair for a world that has turned its face from the hope of redemption. It paints a picture of life devoid of divine illumination, creating a realm where confusion reigns and despair penetrates the human spirit. In Revelation, these apocalyptic events converge in their dramatic climax at the Battle of Armageddon. It is here that final confrontations unfold, as forces of good and evil vie for dominion. The anticipation of this monumental clash signals the culmination of the tribulation's tribulations, where earthly powers confront the ultimate testing ground, and where faith is the most dependable compass. Amid such vivid descriptions of calamity, there's a thread of hope woven into this narrative, offering solace to those who endure with faith. Throughout the trials, the message of resilience underscores that true allegiance to God fortifies believers against the world's crumbling infrastructures. It's a reaffirmation that even in the deepest shadows of the tribulation, the light of divine purpose prevails for those who hold fast to their faith. The Great Tribulation and the seven bowls of wrath are more than abstract convocations of prophecy. They offer a complex depiction of the ultimate reckoning and restoration of balance. They are testament to the culmination of divine justice, where human history will witness its most profound transition, a shift that foreshadows not an end, but a rebirth for those aligned with God's eternal truths. As these scenes of revelatory chaos unfold, believers grasp with anticipation the promise of redemption that lies on the horizon, an assurance that through faith, deliverance is already written. The fall of Babylon, as depicted in the book of Revelation, serves as a sobering symbol of humanity's rebellion against divine authority. This powerful imagery illustrates Babylon as a sprawling empire of sin, an epicenter of corruption, idolatry, and materialism. Babylon's grandeur stands not only for a historical city, but also for the broader human tendency to build societies on foundations that defy the will of God. This timeless symbol warns of the consequences of turning away from spiritual truths in pursuit of earthly desires. In Revelation 17 and 18, Babylon is described as the great prostitute, clothed in wealth, riding atop a beast, leading many astray with her stunning allure, yet overflowing with moral decay. This depiction conjures an image of a society that chases after richness and indulgence, glorifying itself while ignoring divine laws. As Babylon prospers, it captivates the kings and merchants of the earth, joining them in a pact of greed and excess. But this narrative progresses from prosperity to ruin, offering a prophetic glimpse into the unavoidable fall that awaits when human pride overleaps divine grace. The ultimate downfall of Babylon serves as a divine pronouncement against such idolatry and moral corruption. As the prophetic scenes unfold, we witness the lament of kings and merchants who mourn not from empathy for Babylon's loss, but out of despair over their own material bereavement. Their weeping represents the pain of realizing the fleeting nature of earthly wealth, which they had worshipped, now turned to dust. Their mourning encapsulates a pivotal revelation theme, the emptiness of human pomp and the swift vanishing of temporal power when measured against divine eternity. This vivid scene accelerates toward the climactic moment of the final judgment, a time where all souls stand before God's great white throne. As Revelation 20:11-15 depicts, books are opened, including the Book of Life, which represents the final arbiter of eternal fate. This is the culminating moment where each life is laid bare, separated by deeds synonymous with either faithfulness or rebellion. It suggests that human actions, guided by faith or folly, weave the eternal tapestry of our destiny. The imagery of dividing the sheep from the goats further illustrates the solemnity and significance of these judgments. The final judgment isn't depicted purely as punitive, but as an act of divine justice, a way of setting right the balances of good and evil. Here, the ultimate sovereignty of God is affirmed, underscoring the belief that divine justice prevails and evil cannot endure indefinitely. This righteous resolve marks the end of the chaos unleashed by human sin, beginning in the Garden of Eden and spanning through the ages. As the narrative shifts towards the establishment of God's eternal kingdom, it provides a vision of completion, promising deliverance and reaffirming that God's love triumphs over spiritual darkness. For the faithful, this judgment brings peace, the assurance of living in unending divine presence. It's a call to spiritual awakening, urging believers to reflect on their own lives, aligning with God's statutes in anticipation of this conclusive event. In the broader eschatological picture, the fall of Babylon and the final judgment underscore the book's thematic arc of downfall leading to renewal. They serve both as a grave warning against spiritual complacency and an invitation to sanctity. As the prophecy plunges into the depth of human failings, it simultaneously lifts our gaze toward the hope of redemption and transformation. Thus, as we transition into the next chapter that envisions a new heaven and a new earth, let us recognize that every end, fraught with judgment and consequence, unfolds a new beginning, one that offers true glory and divine permanence to those who endure and remain steadfast in their spiritual journey. In the final sections of the book of Revelation, the narrative shifts from the chaos and judgment of the previous chapters to a breathtaking vision of hope, emerging from the cataclysmic downfall of Babylon and the stark realities of the final judgment. The text transports us to a prophetic scene of renewal and divine fulfillment. Revelation 21 opens with John's awe-inspiring vision of a new heaven and a new earth, the old having passed away, taking with it the remnants of sorrow and death that plagued the former world. This profound transformation echoes the eternal promise of God, illustrating a future where divine glory reigns supreme over creation, bringing with it an era of peace and joy unbeknownst to human history. As the new heaven and earth unfold, John witnesses the descent of the New Jerusalem, a majestic city that embodies the full presence of God. This city is not simply a place, but a symbol of divine covenant. It is the ultimate dwelling of the Almighty amidst His people. The New Jerusalem comes adorned as a bride prepared for her husband, communicating purity, beauty, and eternal union with God. This imagery powerfully demonstrates God's unwavering commitment to redemption, illustrating that despite humanity's previous rebellion and failures represented by Babylon, a greater plan has always been in place, a plan where God resides permanently among us, removing the veil of separation that has long distanced creation from Creator. In this divine city, God's promise to wipe away every tear is fulfilled. Grief, pain, and death, which have been humanity's shadows since time immemorial, are eradicated. The former things marked by suffering and decay are forgotten, and an existence untouched by affliction commences. This restoration projects a future where God's love is not only omnipresent, but is the very essence of life itself. For the first time, humanity can experience the peace and joy that accompany unbroken communion with God. Revelation paints a vivid picture of what this means: the absence of death, mourning, crying, or pain, affirming that in God's eternal kingdom, perfect wholeness and creation's consummate happiness are realized. This scene also heralds the ultimate triumph of Jesus Christ, the conquering King. His victory over evil is now complete and unequivocal. This moment celebrates Jesus' defeat of the powers of darkness and sin, accomplished through His crucifixion and resurrection, and culminates in the establishment of this new order. Believers are encouraged to hold steadfast to this hope, knowing that Christ's triumph assures their place in the promised kingdom of God. This future vision fuels the journey of faith, inviting believers to trust and to prepare their hearts and lives for this reality. In this process of recreation, the New Jerusalem also represents a place of incredible beauty and richness, where the brilliance of God illuminates every corner, and His presence sanctifies every moment. The city lacks a temple because God and the Lamb are its temple. Divine holiness permeates all aspects of life there, eradicating any physical, spiritual, or emotional distance between humanity and the divine. Thus, the New Jerusalem is a vivid testament to true and direct access to God, reflecting His promise and desire to dwell with His people eternally. Such a vision pervades the hearts of believers with hope and a call to action, impelling them to live according to the values of God's kingdom amidst their current realities. Knowing the promise of new heaven and new earth gives believers the resilience to face the struggles and sufferings of their temporal existence. It inspires a life of faithfulness, righteousness, and love that mirrors the characteristics of God's eternal kingdom. Furthermore, this revelation serves as a spiritual beacon, calling everyone to deepen their relationship with God and to actively embody the principles of His kingdom, anticipating the incredible promise of His eternal city. The revelation of a new heaven, new earth, and new Jerusalem is not just a distant dream. It is a powerful reality that transforms perspective, encouraging believers to endure and remain hopeful for the complete fulfillment of God's promises. In this divine assurance, Christians find motivation to engage the world with compassion and justice, to be bearers of God's light, and to reflect His love and glory in anticipation of the glorious future that awaits in the fullness of time. This future is marked by ultimate peace and harmony, an enduring testament to God's unfailing love, and an overwhelming invitation to dwell forever in His embrace.